Hello, beautiful friends and book lovers. I hope that you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Heather, and here at Heather's Book Review, I tend to read and review thrillers, but I will read the occasional super hyped up fiction novel or fantasy novel. But today I'm coming at you with my January 2022 wrap up. And I want to try some new things on my channel this year. One of them being giving myself grace with not always needing to have makeup on in videos. If you're new here, we do have an 8-month-old, and I'm now back at work as of January and getting every cold imaginable, hence a raspy voice. But I'm filming right now on a Sunday and the house is quiet. I've had all week, to work and decompress, and this is just a really good time to film. So I think Sunday nights after I've showered and am basically ready for bed is a good time to film. Anyways, I did want to let you know about some new changes to my channel. Not so much changes, but more so goals that I have for myself. One of them being I want to film a monthly wrap up every single month this year. Even if I only read one book during a month. Very highly unlikely, but you never know. And the way that I'm going to ensure that I read at least one book is I am going to choose the thriller choice for book of the month every month, even if it doesn't sound like it's my cup of tea. I know that kind of sounds like a crazy idea because if it doesn't sound like a thriller that I normally gravitate towards like a political thriller, or I'm like kind of over the domestic thrillers at this point, but I'm just gonna choose it because I feel like there are a lot of thrillers that a lot of subgenres of thrillers that I don't really expand my reading to, just because I'm like, oh, that's not really like my cup of tea, or it's not psychological, so like why am I gonna read it anyways? But I am vowing to choose the book of the month thriller pick for every month. If you don't know what book of the month is, it is a book buying subscription that is $14.99, and you get to choose a hardcover book. So they choose 5 books, all most of the time different genres, but there is typically always a mystery or thriller pick. So for example, for February 2022, their thriller choice was The Golden Couple. I would have chosen this anyway because Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen are the duo authors of An Anonymous Girl, which is on my shelf here, and I've also reviewed it. I will link it up above. I think I actually did like multiple videos for that one, like where I filmed my thoughts halfway. So if there's multiple, I'll link them up here in succession. But it is a wonderful subscription because my favorite thing about it is you can also choose up to 2 add-ons for $10. So for example, I chose The Golden Couple as my book of the month token, and then for $10 each, I also got Dark Matter, they're all hardcover. By the way, this is my TBR. The top shelf up here is my TBR shelf. I don't know if it's picking up in camera, depending on the camera angle, but I finally got Dark Matter. I'm super, super excited. And then I also got the very hyped Love Hypothesis, which is all over Bookstagram. So yeah, I love book of the month because like I said, I got 2 of these. I got both of these for $10, and hardcovers, you guys know, retail anywhere from like $25 to $35 US. So I think it's a really amazing subscription. If you're interested, I will leave my referral link in the my referral link in the box below. And if you go through me, that means I also get a free book, which is pretty sweet. That sums up my goals. I will for sure be reading a book a month, which will be my book of the month thriller choice, or whatever the option is. The only time I see that being an issue is if for some reason there are two of the 5 choices are thriller, then maybe you guys can help me vote on Instagram or something, which by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's the same as my handle here. It's just at Heather's Book Review. If you don't have Instagram but still want to know what I picked for book of the month, I am going to leave comments here on YouTube too. I did that this month. I told you guys that I chose The Golden Couple, and because I know not everybody has Instagram, so I'll make you aware of what I chose for book of the month here on YouTube as well. So January was a really good reading month for me, despite returning to work and parting from my son for my maternity leave, and also being sick most of January and now most of February. I managed to read 6 books. which I didn't have any 5-star reads, but if you're new here, I rarely give a 5-star. I'm pretty like picky when it comes to my 5 stars, but I did have a couple 4.5 stars, and then my lowest book was only a 3 star. So I'd say that's pretty good out of 6 books total. So speaking of book of the month, I am going to go through my 3 books that were book of the month choices. So the first book that I read in January was The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knox. I finished this like literally January 1st. This is super early in January. It's about 2 twins who swap places, and it's just a really cute, literally if you think of one of those like cheesy holiday Lifetime movies, but in book form, this is it. And by the way, I mean cheesy as a compliment because I watch all of those Lifetime movies. Despite it having that typical holiday feel, like the twins swap places trope that has definitely, been done many times before, I still really appreciated both twins' point of views, and I was definitely just engrossed while reading it. So I did give this a 4 star. I think it's a really cute holiday read. So obviously the holidays are over, but if you're someone that celebrates like Christmas in July, or even just, wants to have a book added to your TBR for the upcoming holiday season, 10 months from now, 11 months from now, then you should add this one because it's super cute. One of my 4.5 star reads, I was super excited about this. I stayed off of Bookstagram because I didn't want other people's comments about the book to like persuade me in any way, was Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. Again, this is the January 2022 book of the month pick. I chose this. It is definitely still available for an add-on, so you can get it for $10 through book of the month, which is a steal because it retails for $27.99 hardback or hardcover. This is really good. It is about a group of individuals that are on this remote island. So it has some And Then There Were None vibes by Agatha Christie. It definitely reads as like a younger adult, like 20, 22-year-old like dialogue. So that can get kind of like, you're at some point you're like, wow, like, yes, I get it. But like, don't let that stop you from reading it because it's really good. I've also read 2 other books by Rachel Hawkins, The Wife Upstairs. I don't know if you can see that. And then she also goes by a pseudonym. She writes under Erin Sterling. So The Ex-Hex, which I also really liked. But this is definitely my favorite book by her. It was so good. Such a fast-paced thriller. And it's kind of like a, what the heck is going on? Like the entire time you're reading it, you're just like, what route is this going? Book of the month book that I read in the month of January was one that I chose as the thriller for the month of November, and that was The Collective by Alison Galen. This was all over Bookstagram. People were hyping the heck out of this book, you guys. Honestly, people were like, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. And it is really good. I did end up giving it a 4.5 stars. This book really encompasses the word thriller. It is a thrilling book about, well, actually, I'm going to read the inside flap of this one for you. It says, Camille Gardner is a grieving and angry mother who, 5 years after her daughter's death, is still obsessed with the privileged young man she believes to be responsible. When her rash actions draw the attention of a secret group of women, the Collective, Camille is drawn into a dark web where these mothers share their wildly different stories of loss, as well as their desires for justice in a world where privilege denies accountability. Fueled by mutual rage, the Collective members devise and act out retribution fantasies via precise, anonymous, highly coordinated revenge killings. As Camille struggles to comprehend whether this is a role-playing exercise or terrifying reality, she must decide if these women are truly avenging angels or monsters. It's a pretty good synopsis. It is unlike any thriller I've ever read. Sorry, my voice is going to be raspy going forward. But it's really good. It's unlike any thriller I've ever read. And I will say it does take until about like page 70 to 80 to really start picking up. But I really enjoyed the ride. The next book I'm going to talk about, I was very, very, very pleasantly surprised because it has like maybe 200 ratings on Goodreads. which if you're familiar with Goodreads, you know is like pretty low in terms of ratings for a book. And that is called The House of Whispers. I deem this as a psychological thriller. I personally requested this off of NetGalley and was granted the book. I believe the paperback is $12.99. I'll link it down below for you. Basically, the synopsis of The House of Whispers is our main character is happily married. She's in a new house, but there's like some, I don't want to say horror because I know all you horror lovers will like jump on this book and then like drag me when you read it and you're like, that wasn't horror. There's like some spooky stuff that goes on in the story, and you're wondering if our main character is actually like witnessing these things and if crazy stuff is going on or if she herself is just crazy. And I know that this psychological trope of is our main character crazy literally like half the psychological thrillers out there. But for some reason, that's like the one trope that I never get tired of. I will always read it because I love putting those puzzle pieces together. And this one is really good. I will say it's disturbing. There are quite a lot of disturbing, like visual graphic scenes in this book. But I was really pleasantly surprised with it, and it wrapped up nicely. I don't know if I said the star count, but I did give this a 4 stars. One I am very excited to read, and the only reason I read it was because I requested the new novel in the series and was granted the audiobook to listen to it, which forced me to read the first one, is Finley Donovan is Killing It. I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. I loved it. Again, if you're on Bookstagram, you know this book is everywhere. Everyone was hyping it up. It is a comical mystery, like not kind of like whodunit. There are whodunit parts definitely in the book, but it is such an enjoying read because of our main character, Finley. And she's like a single mom navigating life with 2 young kids, and she also has like a babysitter who I don't want to give too much away, but who's in her young 20s, and they just like gel really well together. I think Finley's only 31 too. But it's so humorous. The murder mystery aspect is amazing. And then the ending was really good. It definitely leaves you excited for Finley Donovan. What is the second one? I should know. Oh, I just went to grab my phone, but of course I'm recording with it. Finley Donovan is, don't know. I don't know. I'm going to put this still right here for you. I had to look it up. It was bugging me. Finley Donovan, Knox, I'm Dead. I am 60% of the way through that. That's obviously going to be my February wrap up. Loving it. Almost loving it even more than the first in the series. So I will link that down below for you if you're interested. It is an adorable, funny, humorous, like murder mystery series. And it's just such a breath of fresh air starting this series in 2022 because it's just like really made me excited about reading. Narrator for both of these books too is like absolutely amazing, and she makes the experience of listening to them just so much more enjoyable. The final book is my 3-star book. Oh, wait, by the way, let me know which of these books that I talked about you guys want like actual full reviews on, and I'm happy to film them. Most of the time I will film books that are like super hyped up anyways, or obviously books that are 5 stars I will always film a review for. But I am planning on filming reviews for Finley Donovan is Killing It, The Collective, and Reckless Girls. It's just going to take me a little bit of time to start filming those. But those are coming. But the last book is my only 3-star, and that was called The Unwelcome Guest. This is the trope of the wife protagonist and her mother-in-law hate each other and they don't get along, and like, is the mother-in-law crazy kind of thing. This book was really interesting because it had over like 150 chapters. It was super long, but the chapters themselves were very short. Like, I'm not even kidding. Some chapters literally were a paragraph long. So I would be interested to see what this would look like physically printed, because I read this, I requested this on NetGalley, so I was reading the e-reader version of it, but yeah, I would be interested how many like actual printed pages it is, but it was okay. It just felt really long and it didn't feel like satisfying at the end. I felt like I read the whole book and then the ending just was like super fell flat. So I don't know. I obviously like enjoyed it enough to finish it, but it was just like super average. And that wraps up the 6 books that I read in January 2022. Like I said, please leave in the comments below what full reviews you want of these, if you want any of the ones in addition to the 3 that I just mentioned that I'm going to film. And I'm excited to film my February wrap up because I'm reading some great books in the month of February as well. As always, you can connect with me in the comments or on Instagram, which is just at Heather's Book Review. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.